Just a warning that our next story contains some fairly disturbing and graphic content. If you listen to the news, you would have heard a preview of it. A woman who says she was repeatedly raped over 4 weeks has denied a suggestion from a defence lawyer that her attacker turned up with chocolates and flowers. The woman told the High Court in Auckland that she answered a personal ad in the local newspaper, and a short time later, a man turned up at her door. She said he stayed for 4 weeks, attacked her nearly every day, and on one occasion forced her to do a sex act in a car while her children sat in the back seat. The man, aged in his 70s, has name suppression and faces 12 charges relating to the rape of 3 women and a girl. Our court reporter Edward Gay has been covering the case and joins us now. Good evening to you, Edward.
G'day.
So he apparently turned up at the front door already with an overnight bag.
Well, that's right. That's what the solo mother of 3 young children said today. She said that she didn't want him to stay. She described him as looking creepy, and the man ended up staying for 4 weeks. This is back in the 1970s. The woman said she was scared of the man. He eventually made her walk down to the local shops, to the payphone there, and phone up her employer to quit her job. Asked by the Crown Prosecutor Robin McCoubrey how she felt about that, how she felt about her job, she said she loved her job. She said the man wanted sex every day. She had no choice in the matter. It was against her will. And the woman said on one occasion she was so scared she called out to her children, and she said at that point the man actually put his arm around her neck, and he told her that in one move he could break her neck. She said she took these threats very seriously, and he threatened her constantly.
And this woman is also alleging that he inappropriately touched her daughter.
That's right. She described on one occasion she walked into the lounge room and she saw the man sitting on the sofa next to her daughter, and his hand was on her daughter's chest. She called her daughter away, and the woman said she kept telling the man to leave.
So how did this whole episode come to a close?
Well, she described this situation where one day she saw an opportunity. The man was far enough away from her that she knew he wouldn't be able to catch her. She rushed out of the house and called out to a neighbour next door over the fence. Her neighbour came over. He waited there with her, and this man left in a taxi a short time later.
Now, as we heard, that the defence lawyer suggested that this man originally turned up with chocolates and flowers. Where did that info come from?
That's right. Well, the man's lawyer, Andrew Mackenzie, also asked the woman if her children were excited by the man's arrival. The woman said absolutely not. She confirmed she had originally told the police she saw the man with his hand on her daughter's shoulder, and she said she got that wrong originally. She was sticking by what she said in court today. Mr. Mackenzie suggested she was making up the allegations against his client. The woman said that made her really angry, and the allegations were all true. When Mr. Mackenzie said he had no further questions, the woman replied, "Thank God." The woman's daughter is expected to give evidence on Friday. This trial is before Justice Lang and a jury. It's due to finish in about 3 weeks' time.
I know, Edward, we need to be careful about information here, so feel free not to answer, but in the intro we said that this started when she responded to a personal ad in the newspaper. Do we know the nature of that ad?
It was a run-of-the-mill ad. In fact, this has been talked about in court. In the days, as the Crown Prosecutor put it, in the days before Tinder, before the internet, he said this was a common way that people would meet other people. It was a pretty standard personal ad, and it was basically, male seeks female company. It was a very bland advertisement.
Right, okay. All right, we'll be more on that, and thank you for covering that so closely. Edward Gay there, our court reporter in Auckland.